Hey, Chandra.
I just realized I signed in under West Side. I'm gonna sign out and sign back in.
Oh, but I have a quick question. Do we say the Pledge of Allegiance during our board meeting, or is it just the membership
No,
meeting?
just the membership.
Okay, all right. Just the membership, Greg.
Hi, Greg. Thank you for all the cleanup I've seen around the yards.
He's in the back. He might not have heard you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna sign out real quick and then I'll be back.
Okay.
Right. Did you hear about the fight in the bingo hall last week? Before I had to kick somebody out of here.
No.
Fight? Well, she was yelling. I had to call the police on her. Yeah, she was standing like right there screaming the whole hall. She was cussing. I had to tell her to get out and leave. She threw bingo papers everywhere at Shonda.
Do you guys suspend them or?
No, I 86'd her.
86. Okay.
Yeah.
Is she a regular?
No.
Okay.
And when she came in, you could tell that she was just going to be that type of person.
She was just agitated from the beginning. Huh?
Well, she's just that type of person. Her mom brought her in. Her mom used to work here. I know her mom. Because I was like, Michelle, you want to do something about this? And she's like, she won't listen to me. And I'm like, okay, then I guess I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, if that would have been my daughter and she would have done that, I would have grabbed her out by her hair out of that thing. Yeah, I would have drug her out of this. And then they came back and sat outside right there, parked outside the window right there, waiting for me to come outside. Yeah. I was like, sweetheart, I can get just as ghetto as you can. Watch it. So you got me on the clock right now. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And it was the night that all those robberies were going around here.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
So when I called the police, they couldn't even come. And when she pulled up back there, I went over to Michelle and I'm like, Michelle, you better tell your daughter to leave. And so she went out there and told her to get out of here and to knock it off. Yeah. Oh, it was.
Oh, I'm sorry you have to go through that.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Hey, Teresa, quick question. Do you feel like the plan that we created is gonna be a successful one as far as?
Yeah.
Good, okay.
Yeah, I don't think she'll ever be back, but it was,
Well, that, and as far as the robberies went, we had talked about a couple things to start.
yes,
implementing.
we have implemented it quite, and I do a lot of walk arounds too now after it gets dark.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys should look on do you guys do active shooter training? You guys should look into some active shooter training too.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, look, I'll see if I can find some that the city uses. And email it to the club and have
Okay.
all your employees watch it. It's pretty eye-opening. Just kind of look at your surroundings, where you can be if there's an active shooter that comes in or is here. So it's unfortunately the world that we live in. And
Well, I
if you
went
just heard
down.
the Gorge just had an active shooter. There was a concert. at the
Oh,
Gorge.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And yeah.
You're supposed to go to those things to have fun. Why are you bringing a
Yeah.
gun?
Yeah. So we have it regularly just because I work with elected officials and
Yeah.
they're a higher risk supposedly, but I think anybody's at risk now. So I think all businesses should have it.
Yeah. I gone down and I talked to the lady and I was like, so, she was there by herself and we know her because we go to that store a lot. And she said that she knew that the kid that was pointing the gun at her was a kid. And she said that the 13-year-old or the 14-year-old was the one sitting there telling her to give her the money, but the 17-year-old is the one that came back and had the gun on her.
Wow.
Like I told her, I was like, I'd be more afraid that this kid doesn't know how to work a gun.
Yeah.
That one would scare me,
Yeah.
that maybe this is the first or second time, or they've never shot it before, or they have, and they got no,
Yeah, they don't know. They're just swinging
No.
it around, right? No safety on.
And
nothing.
I really think a lot of kids think nowadays that it's like a video game.
Yeah.
You see these 12-year-olds taking cars and stuff now. I would have never been able to drive on a high-speed chase with a police officer at 12 years old.
My mom would have beat my butt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Hey, everybody, are we ready to start?
think so.
All right, calling the meeting to order. Let's see if we've got a quorum. President Matthew Barrett here.
Vice President Chandra Kay here.
City clerk, who am I? Treasurer. Brandy Law is here.
Well, most of her.
Wrong job.
Yeah, that's a mood.
Do we have our secretary?
Secretary Kayla Sullivan. Not yet. How about for board members? Ashley Bridges.
It's the loudest we can go.
Here.
If you connect it to the Bluetooth, it can connect to the surround sound.
Yeah, do it through the speakers.
How do I do that? Oh,
Sally Gill.
I think Teresa's working on it.
I was like, Teresa's pretty good about it.
Perfect.
Which was
Yeah. Do we have Sally Gill?
You said Bluetooth. Does that help?
Yes. She was here. Looks like she stepped out.
All right, Susie Mates.
I'm here and I'll try and make it in just a little bit.
Okay. Cheryl Elstrom.
This is Perry.
All right. Well, that's enough for a quorum.
I can take meeting notes until Kayla can get here.
Okay, do we have an ETA on Kayla? Anyone heard from her?
I just sent her a message, so I will let you know.
Okay. I am also in the document. So I can't share my screen, but I think we'll be all
Oh,
right.
here, let me change the setting.
Do we have any guests? Mark, are you here?
All right, you guys should be able to share now.
Thank you.
It's not doing anything.
All right, can you hear okay?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we're good, I think.
supposed to end up at the end of the night?
I don't know if you want to set it at the end of the table, so all three of us. I don't know. That,
Are we muted now?
Did I mute us? No. Are you guys there?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Got quiet all of a sudden. I can move my stuff too.
no, no, that's, no,
You're
that's
right?
good, that's
Okay.
good, yeah.
So we've done.
All right.
roll call.
Any other members or guests?
Teresa is here
Okay, let's put her under members.
and Kayla's on her way.
Excellent. We are called to order at 6:37.
Then we have a guest.
Greg Mitchell,
We have a guest.
member.
Ah, Greg, I was wondering if you'd join us. Thank you.
And Matthew, I didn't know if you heard that I'm here.
Oh, I did not, but I put you in. I was expecting you to be here.
Yep.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, well, let me share screen then. All right. We are called to order at 6:37. Do we need time to review the May minutes? I can open that link, or I can drop it in the chat, whichever people prefer.
Did the agenda get sent out prior to?
No, that was my bad. It was not.
Okay, then we do need to go over it real quick.
Yep.
Well, they're there in the face. I got them all stacked up.
Me.
No. Is that background noise there from the club?
No,
That's
Oh.
probably me.
Got you, okay.
All right. So how do we want to distribute? I can just open this here.
I was like, just open it and go over the main.
Okay.
And Cheryl is now here too.
Excellent.
Yeah, I was at work, so I got back late.
Okay.
Where is it?
Let me know when you want me to scroll down.
Can't see the top.
Well, the top
that
is
was
pretty
just
much
the-
boilerplate.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
you can scroll down a little more. I move that we accept the minutes as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye. Motion carries. So, because we have a guest and I don't want him to have to wait through all of our tedium, I would like us to hear from Mark Boatwright Frost with Resilient Ecosystems first.
Okay. Do you just want me to give an overview or the things we're looking at that we could work together on?
Let's start with the overview and then let's talk about ways we can help each other.
Okay, well, first things first, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up, after looking at the fact that you guys have homeschool groups there.
Correct.
So we have just recently met a couple of homeschoolers that informed us. My partner, Terry, who's also on our board of directors, is an umpire for slow pitch and fast pitch girls softball. And homeschoolers we met said that they had not been able to find it. So their girls ended up in Little League with a mixed gender league. And their preference is to be in softball. Terry then went to talk to the softball people who aren't really advertising it all. And we were wondering if it would be, this is not aside from Resilient Ecosystems, if it would be appropriate to put flyers up for the girls softball league at.
Absolutely.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
that needs to be out there, because apparently the Little League people aren't telling anybody there is actually a very active softball girls softball league.
Excellent.
If you want to just put your flyers out, we on our bulletin board or on the table right in front of our bulletin board, we would happily display those for you.
I will let Terry know, and she will bring some by probably this week. You already have flyers from events that we put on there. And we thank you very much for allowing us to put it on your bulletin board, which gets us and brings us to Resilient Ecosystems. We're a 501c3 organization whose focus is developing community resilience, which we define as bringing neighborhoods together and teaching people how to get along and to not be afraid of their neighbors, to help them build community gardens and start discussions about how to work together in the neighborhood. Because when things get bad, people come together. We just want it to be done before things get bad, if that makes sense to people.
Yep.
So our job is to teach people how to come together. We do this in a lot of ways. The flyer that you have there from us is for the Kitsap Resiliency Project. We teach workshops every Saturday at the library downtown Bremerton. For an hour and a half, we bring in people and teach them how to become leaders in their neighborhood. And with the first workshop, which is the one we advertise, is about perspective and helping people see that what they believe is not necessarily what reality is. And that perhaps reality is a broader spectrum than what they're looking at. We are about to lose the library because they're closing down for 3 or 4 months to get their HVAC system replaced. Their boiler blew up in March, and they've been getting by, but they need to actually actively repair it and replace it. So we're going to be starting to look for a replacement place to do those workshops. And we also have 9 or 11 other workshops that we will be doing at a separate time. Once we have a core group of people dedicated to doing those workshops, we're also looking for a location to teach those workshops, and get people actually actively engaged in their neighborhoods. I won't go into the grand depth of things, but the information we have said basically is that things are going to get worse before they get better. And if we can bring people together to have each other's backs, that's the best way to fix all problems. So that's pretty much what we do. Matthew is on our board of directors as well. And the other thing we have on their agenda is going to be in the October timeframe. We're looking for a place to have an event that we haven't had for 7 years, but we want to start doing annually, called Stone Soup. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the story of Stone Soup.
Yes.
But we use that as a theme of people coming together and adding just a little bit for a magnificent outcome.
All right, guys, move forward.
So that's who we are. Any questions?
Have you looked at the West Side Improvement Club for your event hosting?
I actually have. Our issue right now is budget. We don't do a lot of money, fundraising, because it's a lot of the grants out there, and a lot of the fundraising activities are for things that are short term and really pretty, and everything we do is long term, because change takes time and it's not sexy. Though I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun, especially when Matthew's around. So we keep everything pretty close to the chest. We work on a very small budget. And so, we look for places where we can partner for mutual benefit.
Has anybody told you that we currently are in process of creating a community garden for our homeschoolers have actually taken on that project?
No, that's fabulous. And we have a member of our board who is a soil specialist and is focusing on healthy soil techniques. That is becoming a resource for people who are doing gardens.
I would love to put you in contact with both our homeschoolers, and I don't know if the committee is still is still active right now, but I do know that the homeschoolers have taken on a lot of that, and they decided to go against vegetation and looking for more of a sensory slash visual.
Not vegetation, they're going against vegetables. It's not going to be a vegetable garden. It's not going to be for food.
Right.
It's going to, yeah, it's going to be more for sensory experience.
So sense of smell, texture, color.
Right.
That makes sense. Which would be along with their educational guidelines.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It would be more of an educational focus. While that's a wonderful thing, and we still would like to support that in any way we can, we think that people learning how to grow food is vitally important at this point.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah, we would agree that we were not able to do food in our community garden because of the contamination from the parking lot.
Oh, okay. So let me introduce you to the concept of mushrooms. We have a company out of Tumwater, Washington, called Fungi Perfecta. The gentleman who founded it, his name is Paul Stamets. He is a micrologist. I think it's called micrologist. He has developed basically mushroom blankets to go in and pull hydrocarbons out of the soil, making it healthy again. He is working with Japan and Fukushima to develop mushrooms that will actually pull cesium out of the soil to remove the radiation.
Well, this is an industrial contamination from the parking lot. This is animal waste.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So the animal waste, in the parking lot, we have dog poop frequently, and yeah, we have bird poop. And with that, the contamination,
bird poop isn't necessarily a bad thing because it's high in nitrogen.
It's also high in other things that are contagious, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
so
I mean, certainly we can have your master gardeners talk to our master gardeners. Let's get all the master gardeners together. If they can figure out a way to do it, let's do it.
Yeah, and as I say, Paul Stamets has a lot of different technologies he is focused on, and he may have something that could benefit the animal waste issues.
Yeah.
Definitely love to touch base and get a better understanding. Is there anything as far as today goes? What are you looking for from us?
Mostly introduction today. I have been by your facility, and it's interesting. You have a couple of those rooms. As you walk in the door from the lower parking lot, and you have the glass wall in the kitchen on the left side. There's small rooms on either side toward the front that would be perfect for our workshops.
Okay, and you do your workshops every Saturday?
We've been doing them every Saturday for this one workshop, but we're going to have to find another day that's more applicable for everybody for the 2nd through 12th workshops, which is when we actually get to the rubber meeting the road and teaching people how to build grassroots networks.
What I would recommend is get in touch with our rental manager.
Okay.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Chandra, also the rental manager.
Okay.
And
that was easy.
Yeah, see how well we're already planning this. So get in touch with us or get in touch with me, email me, however you want to do it. Let's talk about what you're looking for and how we might be able to assist you.
Okay, I'd be happy to. And the Stone Soup event, we have a fairly renowned local chef who did the first one, who's agreed to do the second one. His name is Chris Now, N-A-U. And he gets all of the food by donation from the local farmers, which kind of fits into the whole Stone Soup project.
And when are you trying to do the Stone Soup event?
It would be October.
October, okay. So I would definitely recommend get in touch with us now because we do have a few events in October. So the
Okay.
sooner we're able to work this out, the better. So definitely, has Matthew given you our email address?
No, but I'm sure he will.
Okay, so
I
it's
expect
just
it'll be in my email pretty shortly.
perfect. So Matthew, if you'll reach out to him, give him our contact information, I would definitely love to touch base with him.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so that's my business for the night. And thank you for having me to your board meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing all that you do.
Yeah, if you take a look at www.reseco, reseco.org, you'll see a lot about what we do and what our focuses are.
Perfect. What was that one more time?
Reseco, our name is Resilient Ecosystems, so RES from Res, ECO from Ecosystems.
Okay.
So reseco.org.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I will definitely be looking forward to hearing from you soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Okay,
Excellent. Thank you, Mark.
and at that, I will sign off. Thank you, folks. Talk to you soon.
Thank
Talk to you
you.
soon.
All right.
What was Mark's last name?
It's a
Boatwright
hyphenated.
Frost?
Yeah, it's Boatwright Frost. It's a hyphenated last name. He has one of those double-barreled ones.
Never mind.
All right, so moving back up to unfinished business, we have the July 1st, 10 a.m. barbecue/club cleanup. So where are we at on that?
So basically, at this point, we are still looking for people to sign up or to commit to the event. The kitchen staff will be there doing our burgers and dogs type barbecue picnic there at the club. The event will start at 10 o'clock and go until, we all decide we're ready to go, probably around 2-ish. And then we can do the barbecue to follow. Greg has already signed up to do underneath the tree and that area next to on National. Other than that, we don't have anybody who has signed up. I know that last meeting we had talked to the Scoutmaster Ron, I believe, Rob.
Robert.
So I don't know if he was planning on doing that there at the club cleanup or another day, but he had volunteered to help with the reader board. Other than that, we don't have anybody signed up.
Well, sign me up.
All right.
I can go, but I also have another activity that day.
Well,
So do I.
If we do tasks like weed eating, or I don't know if anybody has a torch, but I know that there are a lot of cracks in the cement that need the weeds taken care of there. So yeah, if you want to do something, like just pulling weeds or something along those lines, we've got lots of little things. We're trying to keep this mostly outdoors because the janitorial team has done really good about taking care of the inside.
Excellent.
So if you would like to sign up, you can send me a message. There's also a post on Facebook about it. And I believe I sent something out to the members. If not, I will be sending them out soon.
Okay. Yeah. Let's.
I saw the Facebook one, but it goes only to those who are members of it. It says it's private. Since it's private, nobody outside of club will get it.
Well, we're looking all within the club. This is basically for the club.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah, this is an-
understand that.
But yeah,
This is an internal event, so that's fine.
but that is everything as far as that goes.
Okay. Do we have a number that we're shooting for as far as the number of people to come?
Well, the more people, the better. It always gives us chance to, socialize and such, but we'd like to get at least 10 people, I would guess, to help out with weed pulling. We've got, we need people who are confident on ladders. That
Okay.
tends to be an issue as of right now, is though, for those who, so the reader board would require a ladder. If there's people willing to clean the gutters or do the weed cleanup behind in the breezeway. So anybody who is comfortable on a ladder, we're definitely going to need your help.
Okay. I'll see if Malik can come.
Perfect. So the
You can
next
put
thing,
me down as being here since I came in late.
oh, yeah, take care of that.
I had a procedure today and I fell asleep.
I hope everything's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
And I'm
Um,
It's
gonna
just coming
gonna
down from
contact-
anesthesia.
Rex Tauscher as well.
And I believe he already painted the lots, and Greg has been cleaning up a lot of the parking lot area. And I know that the homeschoolers have been working on the garden. So we do have just a few other, I mean, a lot of it is just general upkeep.
Okay. Why
We
not?
do
I,
need
since I
somebody
already
to
copied
hang-
it.
Yeah, there's also a net that we had purchased to hang between the garden and the basketball court. To prevent the basketballs from getting into the garden. That is something that if we can get hung would be great too.
Yeah, okay. So we've got everything we need except for the volunteers. We just need bodies. Let's
Correct.
make that happen.
Are the cadets, is that a no-go, no-show?
No, the cadets require at least 6 months in advance.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll
Maybe
save them
next year.
for, yeah, next year.
Yeah, we're gonna get in touch with them and try to get, the events committee is going to be going through the calendar for 2024 here very soon and putting things on the calendar for next year as well. So once we have dates, then we can seek out things like the cadets.
Mr. President, I have a question about regarding the garden.
Yes, go ahead.
I noticed that there's a lot of cardboard boxes there. Can somebody from, a representative from the garden explain why they need to be there? Is it for growing purposes or something? It looks kind of trashy is what I'm getting at, and I'm willing to clean that up, or at least get rid of the cardboard boxes. But if it's there for a purpose, then I think we can do better than what's there now.
I believe, well, we don't have a representative of the garden here. but
From my
I believe
understanding,
yeah.
it comes to break down the grass.
It's a weed barrier. It's a compostable weed barrier is what the cardboard's being used for.
It just needs to be laid out so that it can break down the grass and the weeds. So it just needs to be laid out on all the areas that they're trying to clear. So right now they're just collecting it. And yes, I do agree that it is a little bit of an eyesore. So we can talk to them and see if we can't get them to lay it out a little bit better so that it's not so, it doesn't look like a garbage heap.
Yep.
Okay, related, I think, is regarding eyesores and garbage heaps. I've noticed around the food box drop-off that it's starting to collect other donations other than food, and there's been a baby chair there for, I think, at least 2 weeks. And I don't want to set any precedents for more drop-offs, non-food items. And so I think the board should address that issue. And
Yeah, I agree. The little blue pantry, it was supposed to be for food and for books. It is not a one size fits all dumping ground as a shortcut to goodwill.
Agreed.
So I'm trying to figure out how we convey that message to the people who are dropping stuff off that, sorry, clothing is just not something the Little Blue Pantry can handle.
We might just put a sign out there that says, you know, please, oh, this site is intended for food and book donations only. Please do not leave.
We have a volunteer to create a sign.
Yes.
Okay.
Did we get it resolved where, didn't I hear something about that as soon as the pantry's filled with food, somebody comes on a regular basis and empties it out? Do we have any ideas of how we can stop that? Because like, I don't want to contribute to that if it's the same person just taking it for resale or just being greedy, or because I'm hesitant now to fill.
Well, it appears that was a temporary thing because there's food that stays in there day after day. It's in cans. It's perfectly good canned food.
Yeah,
So-
since the RVs have left, we haven't had that same situation.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Okay.
I have noticed one lady drives up almost on a regular basis. And she, because she doesn't have anything, when she gets out of the car, she doesn't have anything in her hands. She goes directly to the box. And she looks inside the box and scours it. Or, I mean, I'm being negative here. She looks for items that she would prefer. And then
Yeah.
she gets back in her car. I mean, maybe this is what it's for. I don't know. She gets back in her car, she sits in the parking lot, and I think she eats it. I mean, to me, it's a sad story. But
Yeah. Well, it is for people who are food insecure, and I think what you just described is food insecurity.
well, I just wonder if there's somebody that's taking advantage of it.
Yeah. So,
I think that's a situation where the project has served its purpose. It's
Yeah.
feeding our community.
yeah, you know, if she's, and as far as I'm concerned, we need to keep this stocked so that she actually gets full and leaves something there for the next person. But yeah, it sounds like it's being used.
Good point. Thank you.
All right.
Are we still on
So-
unfinished business?
I
Yes.
just realized, yes, let's talk about tea expenses.
Okay, so as of the last meeting, it was asked that I give a little bit more detail as far as the food expenses or the high tea expenses went. So I went through the numbers, and for ticket sales, we made an income of $150. The total spent was $268.23, so we did have a profit loss of $118.23. However, we were within budget. So the budget that we had created last year was for 200 for donations and such, and 250 for the menu. And of that, we had a remaining balance of 181.77 left over. We did have more people interested this year than we have in the past. And I think had our Peachtree advertisements gone out as planned, we probably would have had more people participate. And almost all of the people who participated were not club members. So that shows me that the advertising is working at the very least. And almost all of the decorations and such that we purchased can be reused for future events. So it was not just a cost that would go to loss. We can use them for future events as well.
All right, good. All right, any questions about the tea expenses? Seeing none, the bylaws update. So after the last board meeting, I did send out the bylaws. You have the option to read and comment using the link that I sent. So now what is necessary in order to get our bylaws properly updated?
I think we needed volunteers to go through it and update it and just to make sure that everybody was given the new or given the recent bylaws to go through it. But we do need people in order to do any amendments that are needed.
I can try and go through it this week. Is it past the deadline or what's the time frame?
No, at this point, there is no actual time frame at this point. But it would be adding in the executive director position. It would be adding in any changes to who gets paid for what positions, as well as there was something else.
Board of directors, right? Reducing the numbers of those.
Yes, thank you. Yes,
All right, I'll look at it this week.
thank you. And this can be, it does not need to be a board member. It can be a member as well. So if you are
Yes.
interested, get a hold of us and we'll add you to the information in order to add you to the list to get contact. Can't speak today.
All right. Anything else regarding bylaws?
Maybe, I'll throw this out. Is there anything in the bylaws regarding our handicap parking? And the reason I'm saying this is because I think we have more handicap slots than there are handicap people in Kitsap County. And I just think that we have too many spots that
Well,
can be used for people that.
That would not be that wouldn't be in the bylaws. Thank goodness. There's a lot of things that should not be in the bylaws. It's not, they are not intended to micromanage.
I think
That is
the
a
building
question.
code.
Yeah,
Building code.
Yeah, the handicap is only on that side, maybe like 6 of them. All the ones over here on the side are not handicapped.
Okay. 'cause
Oh,
I-
they're not? Oh, I thought
No.
all up here.
Yeah. Well, I saw some paint.
Yeah, they used to have them up there, but
Okay.
no, they're not handicapped.
And
Okay.
Teresa, as far as bingo goes, do they get used for
Yeah.
those who are handicapped? Okay.
Yes, almost all of them are handicapped people up there, except for the employees that park there. But the rest of them, I have handicapped people complain every
Oh.
week that there isn't enough up there.
oh, that's
All right.
interesting. Okay,
I mean,
so, yeah,
work
but
behind
you know, that's simply a matter for the board to decide. There's nothing in the bylaws that states the number of handicap parking spaces, and there should. Anything else about the bylaws?
Yes, and others, I guess I'd call it a suggestion, but I would like to see the gentleman be brought back to being attended during the summer. And the reason I'm saying that is I think consistency would be our friend. I don't think it's a hardship for necessarily the people that are showing up already. I don't know, I just think that taking time off is more of a detriment than.
I have always felt that way.
At least discuss that.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, not having membership in the summer because some people are on vacation doesn't make any sense to me. If those people are on vacation, they're not required to attend. But we can still have meetings.
Maybe it was the board that was on vacation.
Who's-
The board isn't getting a
Who
vacation.
trumps, because the membership is the one that voted to continue to not have the July and August. Didn't they just take that up at the last board meeting? Or the
Not at the
membership meeting?
last year, yes.
Last year, but they didn't address it this year, but they're assuming that they're gonna take it
We
off.
discussed it.
I thought we had discussed it again this year, but it could have been last
I
year.
thought we did discuss it again, and I remember being voted down.
I agree. I remember that too, twice.
I-
So who
I
trumps
remember-
what?
yeah.
Is it the membership that says when they meet, or is it the board that determines when they meet, or is it the bylaws? Is it in the bylaws it said?
It's in the bylaws.
The board would still meet.
Yeah, the board
but
decided,
not
we
General membership.
correct.
Correct.
Because they voted, I'd have to look at the minutes, because I think the membership voted to continue not to have the meeting.
Yes.
But who trumps what?
Yeah, well,
That's a good question.
yeah.
Does a membership
Uh,
meeting is for the board to address the membership. The membership doesn't act.
Well, and I think what it came down as far as the bylaw issue is because it was in the bylaws, in order to change the bylaw, it had to be approved by both the board and the membership, and the membership shot it down, so it didn't pass.
Oh, okay, so that is in our bylaws that we
Yes.
don't meet. Oh, okay. That's where, it-
Yeah,
Okay.
I would be in favor of, I want to strike that from the bylaws.
provided as a
Right.
draft to the general public, and if nobody comments on it, then it passes.
Yep.
Yeah. And I also want to implement Greg's suggestion of having a board member at large. That's-
Cheryl wanted it to be noted that because we had no AC, that was a major factor for no summer meetings either.
We'll be at AC now, or we
Yes,
have,
we do.
kind of.
Yeah, and we also have meetings over Zoom.
Yes.
We have meetings, what?
Over
Oh, I
Zoom.
think-
So if somebody can't handle the heat in person, they can
Yeah.
just stay home. and-
Or if they're gone somewhere, you can log in at Zoom anywhere in the United States, right?
Yeah,
There you go.
So I would like to move that we redirect or we
Revisit.
revisit the, man, if I can speak today, that'd be helpful. I
First
would
day
like
with the
to
new
move
tongue.
that we revisit having our membership meetings all months of the year.
Second,
second. I don't
We have a
know.
motion. We have a motion and a
Say
second.
board directors.
well, that's
meeting.
right.
Any further discussion? All in
Yep.
favor?
Yeah, I have a comment. This is
Oh,
Cheryl.
okay,
Yeah,
Cheryl.
the one thing is, that, there's nothing wrong with having the meetings in the summer as long as you have a quorum to do your votes and do business. Otherwise, if you have enough, we're doing that anyway. And so a lot of it was heat
Yeah.
and vacation and everything, and life has changed and we have a lot more issues and things to do. So as long as you have the quorum and whatever, and why not?
Right, right. And if we don't have a, no worse off we've been in previous years.
Yeah, so we can, so with that, does that mean that July's meeting will still move forward, and who shows up, and if we have a quorum, we can continue the meeting? Is that what that means?
Well, at this when we, as far as the motion goes, we would have to represent it to the membership in order to get it approved or
Yeah,
change the bylaws and then have the bylaws approved.
So not until next year, right? Sounds
Correct.
like they don't meet until
it's
September.
not really gonna change until next year. We won't meet until September.
Gotcha, okay.
Why
But
couldn't you have
acceptable.
it? Why couldn't you have it where you still meet regardless, because you could consider it emergent or urgent needs because of all of the structural changes that needs to be
I mean,
done.
if we want to find those loopholes,
You need more attention to it, and then you can go through the bylaw process and everything, but why not make it happen now?
Cheryl, is that a motion that we use the rules for emergency meetings?
I don't know if you call
Except
it.
we've got a motion on the table, so we can't
right?
put in a
Yeah.
new motion yet.
So at this point, there is a motion to revisit it at the next membership meeting, which would not be until September.
Yeah,
So we can, if the does not go past the second, then we can alter it.
All right. So the current
that's-
motion is to address this through the bylaw revisions in September. All
And
in
then-
favor?
Aye.
I thought we were doing an emergency one and
We
presenting.
have
Well,
to do separate, so that if this one gets shot
No
down.
one
then-
made the motion.
Oh, I thought Cheryl did.
Well, she can't with
I-
the-
No, that
another
was
one
just-
on the
just-
table.
that was
Well,
discussion.
there was already one on the table. So this is
Oh,
the
we're
one
still
under
addressing the
discussion.
main motion.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I got it.
So the motion currently on the table is that we address this in the bylaws in September. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Nay.
All right, so it sounds like the ayes still have it. That doesn't prevent us from making another motion. Did I hear another motion coming to the table? Is that motion carried?
I make amended motion that we move the date from September to the next meeting as an emergency needs of the club.
So the next meeting on book would be another board meeting. Because currently, as the laws stand, we do not have a meeting in July or August. So if we would like to create a July and August meeting, we would need to have them set up as quote unquote emergency meetings to handle all of the things that are currently up in the air with the club.
Oh, let's see. I withdraw my motion.
Yeah.
And if we're going to change the bylaws, we have to get them written out, sent out to them. And then they have like the first meeting, we discuss them, and the second meeting, we vote on them.
Correct.
All right.
So it wouldn't be until October anyway where we could vote, but we'd have to get all the prep work done before and sent out, and hopefully people will read it.
Okay, that makes
I
sense.
move that we create a July and August emergency meetings, as there are so many different things that are up in the air with the club that needs the membership's feedback.
Second,
Motion second. Is there any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. This just got interesting, y'all.
Well, so
According
those will be,
According to the bylaws, there are rules for how we need to inform the membership we need to follow those rules for calling an emergency meeting. We need to give them time to reply. So we need to use all of our tools on that. Chandra, this might be a good time for you and I to sit down. I can show you how we can use text them all.
Works for me.
So let's set that up. Because if this is going to be all hands on deck, then it needs to be all hands on deck.
Yeah, because you got what, 12 days? I don't know what the requirement time is.
I
It doesn't think
believe
there's one
we have,
precedent.
Oh, do we
yeah,
have-
I believe we only have to give them a week,
Okay.
but we'll have to check the bylaws.
Oh, I was thinking July 1st. Let me see what's the date.
July 1st is a Saturday, so it'd be July 3rd.
Okay, so it is, yeah, so we still got.
So I would like to add in there, to make this considered an emergency, we need to make sure that the topics on discussion are of importance and we are using their time wisely.
Yep.
You can add, second quarter financial report and then also the, options for, CD rates.
Perfect.
I throw in another wrinkle here. Those are gonna be considered July and August general meetings. And dare I say, snacks are required.
And this is a fact. It will also include for the emergencies, potentially, as at this point, rental cost increase.
And then also include, because it is in the budget and we will implement our second, I think, monthly membership drawing potential winnings, right? Isn't that what we voted on, that it would be rolling a cumulative, that's it. Yeah, a cumulative membership drawing. So we'll still include that as well, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Also, the executive director probationary period was extended, and I believe that will also fall within those 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
that alone justifies an emergency meeting.
Perfect. Looks like we got an agenda.
All right. All right. Moving on.
Not quite. Are we still talking about bylaws?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to address or make a comment. Is the raffle that the treasurer was just talking about, is that in the bylaws somehow stated?
In our budget.
The raffle or the membership? What's the membership drawing? Is the
That's
membership,
in our, yes.
that is in our bylaws?
Okay.
Yes, so that would have to be adjusted.
Okay,
Okay, my suggestion, because I can't make a motion, that we totally change the system. And just hear me out on my suggestion. We're already budgeted for 12 times. Okay, and we've already agreed that it would be consecutive. I would like to throw another little caveat, if I could, to make the holiday Christmas membership banquet that we usually have at the end of the year, that we change the systems a little bit and have a single drawing during the general meetings. That makes it a little bit tougher, makes it a little bit more cumulative. And then the Christmas bash, we draw until all the members are present. So it's a big collective, it'll be a bash. I mean, if the drawing keeps getting more. Are you following me a little bit?
the only wrinkle is if there is nothing collected for July, August, September, October, right? Nobody's on it. And then in November it hits, then you're only getting the 25 for December. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's the only downfall, is if it hit a month or two before, then the jackpot's not gonna be that big. That's the only wrinkle. But I like the idea, because it's budgeted anyways, and whatever's left over should go in the pot and then given away for Christmas.
That's where I was gonna go with it.
I would do it if it's,
have it be a separate one.
yeah. It'd have to be yeah.
And you know, something that could be kind of piggybacked onto that idea is for every meeting that you attend, you get a entry into the raffle. So for those who have come to the meetings more consecutively through the year, they have a higher chance of winning.
I like it.
Okay, I'll ponder on some draft language when I review the bylaws to see. Yeah, so you too, Chandra, if you can look at
And
some
my-
language to see.
And
how-
I'll pick Shonda's brain as well.
Okay,
And might I just suggest as an advertising ploy or whatever, to get members to show up, that it be in the newsletter, that the people that missed out on the drawing previous month, and what it's up to, it kind of build it up a little bit more.
Yeah. I like it.
As a membership tool. And then
Yeah.
I like your idea very much. And I think that'd be,
Yep.
That was actually a previous tradition.
Yes. It was previously tradition to publicize the people who missed out on the drawing in the newsletter to encourage them to come next time.
Yes, but this would be even more incentive if they could have for every time they show up to a meeting, they have potentially another entry into the raffle, the end of the year raffle,
Yeah.
separate
Yeah.
from the monthly membership raffle.
So it'd be basically like the Powerball drawings I do monthly.
Exactly. I hear you, Teresa.
Gee, you guys really know how to stoke the fires of a raffle here, a drawing.
I don't know what happened, Matthew, but your audio just got really low quality.
Really? That's weird.
Sounds teleporty, like you're teleporting somewhere.
Weird.
Right?
Is that even a word?
All right, you guys keep
Yeah.
talking. I'm gonna check on it.
Okay, so those would all be, so we already have the membership meeting for July and August set up okay, was there anything else that you wanted to add to that, Greg?
no.
Okay, was there anything anything else anyone wanted to add to the bylaws discussion?
When are we gonna meet to go over them?
We have not set a date at this point. We're trying to get enough people involved, but it has not been established yet.
If you can review the draft document and then get your changes to Chandra, then
Okay.
she'll compile them all, and then probably September, October-ish is when we're gonna
Yes.
finalize everything.
So that we can have it ready for the new year.
Oh, okay. So we,
And I did send out those bylaws, I believe, to everybody on the board at the very least, and maybe a couple others.
Yeah,
I
I got
never
it.
got them.
Oh,
If you did not get them, who was that?
Sally.
Sally, I've been having issues with your email. I don't know if it's the AOL, but I have sent many things to you and you don't seem to be getting them. I will touch base with me and we'll see if we can't figure this out.
Okay.
I think the next thing on the list was the ice machine. Teresa, did you want to talk about the ice machine and the situation going on there?
Yeah, the ice machine's broke. It's not producing any more ice. We're spending about $35.76 a week on ice, which monthly is about $143.04. I found an ice machine that will cost us $350, and it produces 100 pounds of ice every 24 hours.
Is the old one not able to be fixed?
No. Not at the cost. It would basically cost more to fix it than it would to replace it.
Okay.
from a treasurer's perspective, bingo has the funds to support it.
I would move that we purchase the ice machine under the bingo's budget for the $350 plus tax is needed.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
All right, Teresa, go ahead and purchase that whenever you are ready.
Okay.
I would also like to thank Bingo and the kitchen staff for their patience on this. I know that they've been waiting on that ice machine for a while. I appreciate you letting things happen by the proper channels.
So the last thing on the agenda is rent increase. If you, for those who are in the are actually, I think I can if somebody can make me the host, I can share that, or if somebody is already the host, if they can click on it and look, bring it up.
I think I allowed all participants can share, so you should be able
Okay.
to share it. Hopefully.
Let me see. Perfect. Okay, so we did just have our finance meeting. And it was, so there may be some things that we will adjust slightly. But I wanted to point out that our current cost to rent is extremely lower than any of our competition. I have looked around. I have looked around and tried to compare what we offer as far as what everybody else offers. And so this is what I've come up with so far. I've also picked the brain of our previous rental manager, Farrell Davis, and she agrees that these are fair prices. One of the reasons that we do need to adjust the cost is we need to consider the cost of the utility use, the cost of the bathroom supplies, the rental manager's salary, the janitorial salary, and potential damages that we could incur. So currently our rent from 8 a.m. till midnight only costs $420. So that would come down to, hold on, I had it calculator. So for $420 at 14 hours, that's only $30 an hour. That is barely covering the cost of utilities. My recommendation is we change our layouts a little bit. So if we're going to do the full day, so that's from 8 a.m. to midnight, instead of being $420, the cost would increase to $800. So the $800, and actually from 8 a.m. to midnight is 16 hours. So it was even less than that, would bring it up to $50 an hour for the full day.
It's still cheap.
Still very cheap.
Yeah.
And then the full day with the alcohol permit would go from $820 currently to $1,200. And this is the same amount increase of $380. The half day, do not currently offer a half day. So a half day would also give us the opportunity to have more than one event per day. And I have already talked to janitorial, and they feel that they can cover in between those events to go in, restock things like, and do a spot clean between events. So for a half day, which would be 8 hours, it would be $450. For a half day with alcohol, it would go up to $600. And so the hourly rate would be $75 an hour with a 4-hour minimum. So if they're only going to use it for 4 hours, it would be $300. And then I was only going to increase the nonprofit rate to $320 instead of $295, and the member rate from $225 to $250. So the alcohol permits add an additional $200 to cover extra cleaning fees and security as needed. So for large events that have alcohol, we are hiring out our own security as needed to take precautions, but that has not been a big situation as of recently.
Is that a direct cost to the rental? So for example, if it's an alcohol with an event and it requires security, paying the security and then invoicing them for that afterward, so it's a direct cost through, or
It comes out of the amount that they are already paying.
So we've included it as part of their rental, or no?
Yes.
Okay.
So I would like, this is my proposal to increase this, but I would like your feedback on how quickly to implement the changes if it is approved.
I would recommend 30 days notice to everybody. And then after that, I think that's a sufficient notice. If you send out emails, send out an email list to our past renters, past current renters, as well as a follow-up in a hard paper mail and give them 30 days.
Maybe even put it on the
Website.
Facebook, the
Yeah.
website, yeah.
Letting them know that as of going into effect, it depends if you can get it out in the next couple of days. I would say effective August 1st, the new rates come into play.
Do that.
One thing is, if you're doing your letter, I would be sure to mention that you've done a cost comparison in the community in setting your new rates and everything, so people don't think you're just pulling it out of a hat.
Yeah, mention the cost comparison, mention utilities and supply cost increase and payroll increase. Cost of living type stuff.
Yep.
Now, did they have a security deposit included?
So that is something that was asked of me before. We had talked about in the past, either reducing or removing the deposits so we don't have that money going back and forth. My one concern with removing it is that, so we do have their credit cards on files. However, what happens if their credit card gets declined for the amount that we need to charge? We don't have that money in our hands already.
I say we still use the deposit.
Agreed. Okay.
And then another thing to mention in the newsletter or the notification that you sent out, mention when the last time there was a rate increase. So it's years, 10 years.
Yeah.
Due to cost of living, we need to increase.
Okay, so I would like to put this as a motion as written to increase the rental costs and give everybody 30-day notice on all of our formats.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I have something. I'm curious about this, and I don't necessarily object to any of these different rates. So I'm curious though, and I'm not sure if our treasurer can answer this. When it comes to our nonprofit status, can we count the discount that we give to nonprofits as a donation to them?
In kind, yes.
Yes.
It has,
We always have.
yeah, the
Okay.
definition is in kind that we're giving back to the community.
And that would actually increase that with their rates are not going up much at all.
well, basically, you're giving the in-kind like to nonprofits instead of like 600 for the whole day. They're only paying, they're only paying
Right.
325.
Right.
So there's that
they-
donation right there.
Right, so we can count the difference as a donation.
Yes.
So all of our donations to nonprofits are about to go up,
Correct.
okay? All right, well, because, and I guess a related question, the nonprofit rates. So were they not breaking even before and now they are?
With the way that the budget is laid out and with the percentages covered by each group, it was barely covering. Because between, like I said, between the cost of janitorial, cost of utilities, cost of rental management, yeah, we were barely breaking even if we were even making that.
Okay, because one thing that I would like to consider is we may want to keep our nonprofit rates super low as they were, for two reasons. Number one, it increases our donation, which protects our 501c3 status. And number two, it increases the type of renters we want to encourage.
I still think that nonprofit rate is a lot cheaper than you'll find anywhere else.
All right,
But that's just me.
Yeah, I think we should increase it too, just to show that, hey, we've looked at our cost and we're gonna up this just a little bit too. I don't think, we're only raising it $25, so I
Yeah.
think that's reasonable, but I understand I can see your perspective on that as well. I think
Yeah, well,
we have other things that we can do to check off that box to show more value of in kind.
right. Well, what I've been thinking is that just trying to frame a business model for the future where bingo is the profit maker and rental protects our 501c3 status through donation. That's a strategic position that I would like to encourage.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
yeah, all right, no objection. Any other discussion?
Yes, I was wondering, first, Chandra, you were talking about like, from 8 a.m. until midnight. I'm just wondering how, you talked about the half day. Now, when you have someone come in like for a party, like a graduation party or something, are they just using the number of hours, which would actually qualify them more for a half day rate? Or how much are people using that 8 to midnight type of time period? How frequent is that?
It definitely varies. For private events, they tend to use the entire 8 a.m. to midnight and sometimes try to get more
Oh.
time.
Oh, okay, because I was just saying, if it with that half day rate, if a lot of events are 8 hours or less, that's a pretty good rate. Yeah, for most activities, I would say would fall under that, except those real large parties and stuff.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so it
okay.
Also-
really depends because they're like the nonprofits, if they're doing a public event, they
Yeah.
tend to fall under the 8-hour time frame. So it does vary. But we have some people who only want to use it for, a conference room for a couple hours, but they don't want to
Right.
pay the full
Right.
plan. So that's where those price breaks can come in handy as well for negotiations.
Okay, on the donated sites too, for the 501c, you were talking about a little bit of a bump, but how are we factoring in for janitorial? Because you still have to clean the building, regardless of their status. I mean, how is janitorial being figured into that?
So I did contact janitorial and I talked to them about it, and they did say that they would be able to find the time to come in between parties and spot clean, and if they would basically they wouldn't be doing a full clean, but we have found that the majority of our renters follow our cleaning checklist very well because that's how they get their deposit back, and that is reinstated more than once. So we have had much better cleanups, and because of that, it makes the janitorial job between events much easier.
I meant more like if you had a 501c group having an activity and you talked about the current rate going up, I think your bump was only $25. How much of the rate currently is factored as being for the janitorial service for them, in that cheap rate to begin with? How is that being factored in?
We basically have done an average on how much time the janitor staff spends after an event and the type of events.
Mm-hmm.
So I've compared that as far as what is needed per event. And if we are doing back-to-back events, it's not going to be an event where there's alcohol and then another one follows. So it is all that has been considered as well.
So the rates that I think what's helpful is, I think Chandra's gonna look at that new proposed or the breakout of the percentage cost allocation for rentals and just confirm that the supplies and the payroll time that it takes to clean and the supplies that we have for that particular category in our budget meets the rate. So, and if not, then I suspect she's going to adjust it a little bit more.
Yes.
Well, one thing on the 501cs, I don't know if I heard it or not. So we have like, we're talking about half day and full day. Is their rate the same regardless of how many hours, or is there breakdown between like, say, a half day and a full day, or is it all the same regardless?
So for a full day, they're basically getting it $50 an hour. For a half
Okay.
day, they pay $56.25 for 8 hours.
Okay,
So it's not that big of an adjustment. However, they do get, basically $6.25 off an hour if they go for
Okay.
the full day.
yeah. I just wanted to know if it was just a flat rate and didn't matter how many hours, but like we've already addressed that. Okay, thank you.
All right, any further discussion?
I have one question.
Go ahead.
If we do half days, we're looking at about 16 hours for the full day, and you want to go like 2 half days, you're going to have, there's not going to really be any time in between. If for this person to get a full 8 hours and then this person get a full 8 hours. Plus you have to look at those who want to, instead of getting it from 8 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon, those who want to get it from 12 noon to 8 p.m.
Well, the 8 hours, if we were to do that, and we actually have done it before, I believe, we've had back-to-back rentals. If somebody is renting for any amount of time, by our renter agreement instructions, they are to spend the last few hours cleaning.
Correct.
So if they rent it for 8 hours and they spend the last few hours cleaning, there shouldn't be any objection to our janitorial staff coming in during that period, the last few hours of their rental, and assisting with that clean.
Okay, but what my question is, by like, you have two people who want to use it on the same day, but this person wants to use it from 12 noon until 8 p.m., which is right smack dab in the middle of the 16 hours.
Oh, my initial thought was to break the day up from like 8 to Connor, just a moment. From sorry, I just lost my train of thought. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So from like 8 to 4 and then 4 to midnight. And then otherwise it would be more of a full day type situation.
So mom. Preset time frame for half days.
Yes.
Right, okay, that's what I was asking because
Dinner. I know, we're almost done, buddy. Calling me out in front of everybody. Let's just go.
I haven't eaten in 3 days, so I'm got it hungry too. No, anyway, I was just concerned because there are people who, oh, you have partial days. I would like to do it from this time to this time. So if it's written in that it's only from, you have half day from that time to that time. That's basically what I was asking, if we have it set time that way.
Yes, so we should be able to accommodate with the half days by doing the 8 to 4 and then the 4 to 12. And
Okay,
then
but if they want to
call
go
in,
from 12 to 8,
then they'll just pay a full day.
then they'll pay a full day. Okay. That's just that was my question.
Perfect.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I think that's everything.
I think it is.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
I'm right there with you.
Anything for the
I'm
good of
the depart.
All right. Meeting is adjourned. At what time is it?
7:51.
51. Getting closer and closer to a 1-hour meeting.
Well, we had quite a bit on this one too, so.
Oh, yeah.
I
Very
think
effective.
if you remember, it's only 250, so why not join if you're gonna be
Right.
$800?
It's gonna be great advertising
It's like
for
what,
membership.
$25?
Exactly.
$20?
Exactly.
It'll save you.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right,
So
should I
does
end? it?
anybody want to sign up for next month's emergency membership meeting for snacks?
I will. Brandy will.
Brandy's bringing snacks next month. All right.
Hey, I love it.
All right. I see you next July.
All right, bye, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.